Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video on another Simpsons Tapped Out update that we're going to be reviewing. And of course, this is the Hot Diggity Dough update. Now, this is the most recent update of Tapped Out. This is a mini update that I have done both premium gameplays for. So if you want to check out Deuce and the Sergeant Sausage, please go check out my premium gameplays. I went a bit Canadian there. Anyway, today we're going to be reviewing the update. We're going to be talking about the structure, the characters, the buildings, the decorations, and also my overall feel of the update. As well, I want to touch briefly on the, returning store, and a few other things that I do think this update has actually done quite well. Now, my overall feelings on this update is I do think it's good. Just not that good. It's kind of like a step above meh. The only reason why I'm kind of leaning though towards good is because there are a few things that aren't to do with the content and structure. A few other things that they've done with this update that I actually really appreciate. So I want to talk about that first, just because I think it's always good to start with the positives. So those positives are this. First of all, the character quest lines. The Sergeant Sausage was 6 parts, Deuce was 5 parts, and I think Dr. Hot Dog, I think he was 4 parts or 5 parts. Pretty long quest lines. I like it when they do that. It shows a lot of care. The actual quest line itself for the entire event, I thought was pretty good. It wasn't like terribly engaging, but it was okay. Deuce's quest line was a bit but Sergeant Sausage's quest line was amazing. I actually thought that was a really solid quest line. Then we have the Dr. Hot Dog, or Sausage, what the hell his name is, Dr. Hot Dog. His one was fine. But yeah, the overall questline was pretty great, and I think that's a good feature. Another great feature of this update is the thing with the grease. So there's a part of the questline where the Skyfinger's involved, and I actually really like that little kind of, no, not twist, but that little involvement with the Skyfinger. And then you had to collect some grease, so you had to obviously tap on the buildings. Now, at first I thought this was a glitch, but what actually happens is the current currency on your buildings, the current currency that's been generated, that will not count. You have to collect that tax, or collect that money, income, and then you have to allow that building to then do it again for so many times. Best way around this is just get a bunch of if you have a bunch of Krusty Burgers in your inventory or built in your town, just wait on the Krusty Burgers because their income's fairly quick. Great little feature. I really like that little extra kind of feature because we haven't got tappables, so that was a nice little addition just to kind of, spruce things up ever so slightly. So I really appreciated all these little tiny things that they did that was really good. Also, the epilogue is 2 parts. We haven't had a 2-part epilogue in ages, so I like that as well. I just feel like in terms of the quest lines, this and the actual sort of, not the structure of the new content, but the structure of the actual the way you get the content, I thought all of that was really well done. There was a lot of care kind of put into it. So yeah, I really appreciated those aspects, and that's why I kind of think that this update is good. But nevertheless, let's talk about the other features. Starting off, we'll talk about the structure. Now, structure-wise, I think this update is a little iffy. I think there's a mixed bag of things, because I really enjoy most of the content that's added in the prize track. We obviously have the hot dog cart, which I think is pretty decent. It gets added to the store for like 10 donuts. The Homer Schnitzel, I think, is a really nice building, so really lovely looking building, so I like that one a lot. Dr. Hot Dog, I don't think he's a terrible character. I think he's pretty mediocre. I think he's kind of funny. And I like his animations, to be fair. I think the one where he's walking the hot dog, the hot dog, and also the one where he's kind of like doing his psychiatry. Both of those are pretty solid animations. Questline-wise, it's a bit meh, but no, I didn't think he was too bad. The Acme Greaseco truck is okay. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's fine. It's just a standard kind of tanker, really, to get. But it's cool that we got it. And the Springfield Meatball Factory, I think it's the worst building from this update. But I don't think it's a terrible building. It's just meh for me. It is a bit drab looking. It doesn't look amazing. But I don't hate it. Now, my biggest issue with the prize track has not really much to do with the actual content itself, more to do with the structure of the content. Now, of course, they've reverted back to doing the character being unlocked like as the third prize, which I don't know. For me, I personally just don't think it flows very well. It is more of a personal preference thing, but yeah, like I want to be able to unlock the character as the final character, and I feel like Dr. Hotdog might not have been the right choice for the character that we were unlocking. I do think that Deuce or Sergeant Sausage really should have been the character that we unlocked at the end of the prize track. So, I don't know, for me personally, I think that they should have switched that around. It would have made the prize track just, amazing. They had the character be the final prize and the character be a bit better. Even if Dr. Hotdog was the final prize, I think I'd look at it a little bit more favourably. But yeah, I think that's the biggest flaw of this update is really just the structure. I don't really have too much issues with the content. I think most of it's okay. Just a few things here and there I would have tweaked. But yeah, in terms of structure, I think the update's not great. But I think the other stuff that I mentioned earlier in the video is kind of elevates that for me. So I still think it is good. I just want to briefly talk about the returning store. I don't think the returning store is too great. I do think there's a lot of missed opportunities. It feels like a lot of the stuff they've added is stuff they kind of forgot to add from previous updates. For example, we obviously got the all the Clash of Clones costumes from... Oh God, what update was it? Was it the first? It was the Red Alert update, I think. We got all those costumes, and they never added the Barbarian and Barbarian Homer. And then in this update, they've given us both the Barbarian and the Barbarian costume Homer. Barbarian Homer costume for the Barbarian. Feels really kind of weird that they've chucked that in. Charcoal Briquette, I feel like comes up in every single update. Maybe that's just me, but she really does appear quite often. And yeah, there's a few extra things like the what's it called, the Solitan Red Factory, which hasn't been added for a little bit, which has been thrown in there as well for donuts. So there are some really cool returning things for sure. However, one of the big things that we kind of saw in the files that we were really excited for was, of course, God, because apparently God was being returned. However, there's a catch. The catch is you need to unlock and buy Sergeant Sausage to be able to buy God. So you have to complete Sergeant Sausage's Part 1 task. And of course, to complete his Part 1 task, you have to buy Sergeant Sausage if you want to be able to buy God for 777 donuts. And you'll get 77 donuts back as a rebate. I don't know, this for me is just so odd and kind of weird. Like maybe it's like a way to try and get people to buy Sergeant Sausage, but like God is already ridiculously expensive in terms of donuts, like ridiculously expensive. So you want people to buy donuts with Sergeant Sausage and then play Sergeant Sausage to then be able to get God. I don't know, it seems so whimsical and like it's dumb. I know the reason why they do it is God is a character everyone really wants. And 777 donuts can easily be hacked in, or you can go to a cracked or a hacked town and you can easily get God easily. It's clear why they've done it, but it's just really weird. And maybe I'm just mad because I really want God on my alternate account, and I'm gonna have to buy Sergeant Sausage if I want to get him. But no, I don't know. It's just odd to me, really odd, but whatever. Now let's look at the characters and talk about them. So I've already briefly pretty much talked about their quest lines, but Dr. Hotdog I think is got a mediocre-ish quest line. In terms of his animations, I think he's good. In terms of his look, I actually really think his look is great. And I know he is actually Dr. what's his name, Brentano or whatever it is. He is like a hallucination version of him, but I'm okay with them adding it as a separate character, as almost like a semi-tapped out exclusive. I think it could have been added as a costume, but it's in that kind of hallucination thing, so I feel like it's fair enough to add it as a separate thing. So yeah, I'm okay with Dr. Hotdog. I don't hate him, I don't love him, I think he's pretty mediocre. Deuce, I think, is pretty good, although actually, I feel like mediocre is probably a good word for Deuce as well. I do like his involvement in the event, and it's cool that they finally added him. I like his kind of parts of his questline, although I did find it a bit boring. and I don't really like his animations, so I think meh is probably a good word. I don't know, maybe even bad, because I'm really glad they've added him, and that's the one kind of shining light, I guess, to his character. But yeah, there is some. He's kind of crappy, like, to be honest with you. And then Sergeant Sausage, I think, is the standout character from this update for sure. He looks great. He flows around your town. Like, I really love the way he just kind of bounces around your town. I think his animations are brilliant. I think his questline was amazing. I think his voice is cool. He looks great. He's 10 out of 10. However, there's one massive downside, and that's he's super premium. And if he weren't super premium, I would be definitely saying this is a great contender for the best character of the year. Even with him being super premium, I still think he has a good chance. It's really annoying because the best characters used to be the characters that were in the store for donut combos, right? That used to be the best character. It would be like, oh god, I really want, what's his name? Old Scratch. But Old Scratch is premium. Oh, damn, that's really annoying. Or I really want this character, but oh, darn, they're premium. But now it's like an extra level, and now the good characters in the updates are super premium. It's so stupid. But, yeah, I think he's cool enough. I like him. I really do, but like I said, the super premium thing has to bring him down a little bit, but I still think he's a very, very solid character, despite the price tag. And then here we have our building and decoration showcase. So let's have a look. So at the left there we have the Homer Schnitzel. Like I said before, really like this building. I think the colours pop out really well. I think it's appropriate size. Yeah, looks great overall. Really love it. So that one for me is a big thumbs up. The Springfield Meatball Factory, I don't hate it, like I said. I think it's a bit mediocre. It kind of has that kind of drab, depressing look to it. And it's arguable because it kind of doesn't really fit too well in the update. It's a meatball factory, not a sausage factory. So its kind of involvement in this update is a bit iffy. Although I think it's fine. I don't hate it, like I said. The hot dog stand is okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's pretty, well, I don't know, it's pretty okay. I mean, it makes sense to add in this update, so yeah, I'll give it that. And the Acne grease coat there is a pretty nice looking truck. Yeah, pretty standard. Actually, do you know what? I've come around to it, and I actually quite like the truck. I quite like it. I think obviously it makes tons of sense because they have the grease factory added in this update. And grease, sausages, you can kind of, the correlation's there. So yeah, I'm happy enough with the Acne Co truck. It's fine. So, yeah, let's also talk about the premium building. Here it is, the grease recycling plant. I think the biggest issue with this building is really just its size. Just a tiny bit bigger and it would have been perfect. I don't think it needs to be, like, massively big. I don't know. The sort of, the way it's kind of presented in the episode, I feel like it is, like, a really big building. But in the game, they've kind of downsized it a lot. I don't know. It should be a bit wider, a bit bigger, a bit bulkier. But I don't hate it. I think it's fine. I mean, it's still a nice looking building, despite it being a greasy building. I do like it. I'd be lying if I said that it being a little bit too small kind of puts me off it. No, it's still a good building. So, yeah, that's my opinions on that and all the buildings and decorations. So, overall, what are my opinions on this update? Well, I think it is like I said at the start, a good update. It definitely has a lot of flaws, biggest of which are the structure, for sure, is the biggest. I think the returning store could have been improved a little bit, and some tweaks here and there, like the grease recycling plant should be a bit bigger. I think switching around the premium characters and the free character should have been done. Yeah. So, I think there's issues, but I still think it's a solid update. Look, even if they put Deuce in the prize track and not Dr. Hot Dog as the characters as they are now, I think Deuce is pretty bad. I actually think that Dr. Hot Dog is better than Deuce. So for me, I'm not too annoyed that Dr. Hot Dog is in the prize track with how the characters are now. I would have liked Deuce to be improved and then also put in the prize track for sure, but I mean, it is how it is now. Yeah, like I said, don't hate the update. I like a lot of aspects of this for sure. Another thing, Deuce should really have an animation in the Deuce Caboose. It's really weird that he doesn't have an animation in the building that he works at. And I realise that's because obviously he's added after, but still, there should be like a third animation or or even just the second animation should be in that building. It gives you a bit of a reason to get that building. And as well, that building probably should have been free, like chucked in the prize track as a bonus thing for new players. I feel that as well. But yeah, there's definitely this update is got issues. I still think it's okay. Is it as good as how it looked in the spoiler leaks? Not really. I think there's a lot of issues that kind of bring this update down a lot. But yeah, I still like it. I don't hate this update. Mainly because I think the characters are pretty solid and the buildings are pretty solid. So for me, at least, I don't know, it's kind of brought a little bit of joy back. And it's funny seeing basically the equivalent of a hot dog update. That's kind of, yeah, that's kind of funny. So anyway, tell me your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.